back to the HSBC Asian Sevens Series in Thailand. It's time for the bowl final. Here's Chinese Taipei going about the preparations for their big game. They'll take on the People's Republic of China. At an up and down weekend. With me in the commentary box is Matt Cullen, who's the coach and manager and all things good about the Philippines rugby team at the moment. Matt, thanks for coming on board for the first half at least. Who are you picking for this tournament? For this game?
Great to be here again, Mike, in the Asian Sevens Series, and I would have to pick Chinese Taipei on form coming into this tournament. We had a really tough 5-all draw with them in Kuala Lumpur, and they're a tough team to beat. They play a very physical game.
So it's China with the first chance at attack here. Hay gets it very wide to the try-scoring machine, Zhou Shubin. And that brings his try tally to 5 for the tournament. So a good start for PRC in this game. Matt, you've got a game coming up, the Philippines in the plate final against Thailand. Obviously you'll warm up in a few minutes' time. How are the boys going to approach that?
Look, this is going to be a great final. I think I just put the kiss to death on Chinese Taipei there. They're playing touch football. They've got to tackle if they're going to win this final. We've got Thailand, the home team, so they're looking very fit and they've played well. We've had a tough morning against Kazakhstan, so we've got a lift to actually beat Thailand here on home soil. So looking forward to a fairly close encounter. Thailand play a very wide, expansive game, so our defence is going to have to move left and right, and our fitness is going to be tested in this game.
So China to kick off, 7-0 ahead. Here's Chinese Taipei with an attack through Chen Ting Chung. A penalty 2 awarded by referee Paul Mackay. So it's Chung Cheng Xian who takes it away. Good strong stuff in the tackle there from Chen Yong Chuang, the Chinese forward. So it's Chinese Taipei retaining possession well. Li Chia Wong. Ball's off the ground. I'm not sure if the referee will call that a maul, but Chinese Taipei have got it. It's sloppy though, and back foot ball. There's Chen Kuo-lun, one of their best players, slips a nice pass too. So Chen Ting Chung, a little man, and he wins a penalty. And here's Chuang Pu Yao, who also is a big chunk of a big fella, isn't he? And he's not scared of any reputations for the People's Republic of China. Quick tap, and he knew which way to the try line, didn't he, Chucky?
Look, he's not a classic sevens player. He had the goal line open, and he decided to run over the fullback to score the try. So a good break there by Chinese Taipei, and a great offload there by the tall player there, second rower.
He does it all, doesn't he? That man Chen Kuo-lun, he's one of their finer players, that's for sure. So talk us through what happened this morning. A bit of a shock really against Kazakhstan for you guys. What do you put it down to?
We were down 10-0. We did not retain possession. We went into our first 3 phases of the game and gave away possession. And we should have held possession those first three phases to give ourselves an opportunity to score. Instead, we gave it up the first phase on 3 occasions, and they dominated possession and scored 2 good tries and against the run of play. So we had to fight from behind in the second half. And there he is, driving over and slams it down.
Yeah. So, a bit of a shame, but at least you're in the plate final. That's a good result.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very even competition, this Asian Sevens Series. I mean, it was only 3 weeks ago, Chinese Taipei were playing in a plate final.
Yep.
So here they are in the bowl. So you lose one game, or you drop it for one game, and you can be down the next tier. So we're just happy to be in the plate. We could have competed with Korea this morning to go into the cup, but on today they were too good for us today. They played well, and then they came up against a really fit, strong Hong Kong team. So looking forward to Hong Kong Japan final, obviously.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game. But Japan, they really just stepped up a gear, didn't they, against Sri Lanka? I was picking that game might be a bit tight, but they just never let Sri Lanka into the game. The first 4 kickoffs that they kicked off, they retained possession, and that seems to be such a key these days to the game.
Yeah, certainly is, and we see a blood bin there for China. A substitution coming on now.
It's Chuang Po Yao who seems to be in charge of the tap kicks now. After that try, he scored. It's a good switch of play, and Chinese Taipei looking likely here. They can spread it wide. They do that now through Lo Wuxian. He goes for the corner. Oh, that was an interesting piece of play. Slid in early, like a baseball runner, didn't he? Slid in early and then just popped the ball over it. Not sure if he planned to do that, but it certainly bamboozled the defence.
He slid under the diving tackles, but very effective tap move there from Chinese Taipei on the 40-metre line. Drew in the defence, and then China fell off 2 tackles and a nice offload that allowed them to move it out to the wing. And then he showed some deft skill to sneak under the tackles and score out wide. Kick to come from out wide.
We just saw, actually, we just sort of clicked that the coach of Chinese Taipei for this tournament is Nathan Major, who is one of the Major brothers, brother of Aaron, and quite a famous rugby family in Christchurch, New Zealand, and he played Super Rugby himself, and now is coaching the Chinese Taipei team, so that might have something to do with their improvement in KL. They obviously haven't reached that level in this tournament, but yeah, they're playing good structure, aren't they? And moves like that just show that a bit of good coaching and some good set piece moves can set you well on the way.
Yeah, I met Nathan this morning, and it's great to have people of that calibre coming up and coaching in the Asian circuit, but maybe he's working with a kicker because he just kicked it from the sideline as well. Yeah. Great kick.
So Chinese Taipei, well, your pick is coming right, Matt. Early try to PRC, but Chinese Taipei strike back with 2 quick tries converted, so 14 points to 7 just before half time. Yeah, it was interesting. Korea played very well, and some of the young players have been given bench roles. They came on and got a lot more time than they have been, and they played very well against you guys. It's a good sign for Korea that some of the younger players are getting a chance.
Yes, we're in the same position. A number of our players have sustained small injuries, niggly sort of ankle injuries that make it difficult to run in sevens, and we're playing our bench players. So the good thing is bringing players off the bench late in the second day as they are fresh. And sometimes if you give the young guys a chance, they can really excel in the sevens game. So I'm hoping our players step up here in the final against Thailand.
Tell us about Robert Jones, because he's been scintillating when you've given him a chance off the bench.
Yeah, well, he's only 18 years old, so he's a young guy, and he's fresh, and he'll be starting in the final. Jake Letts is carrying a bit of a hamstring injury. He carried it into the tournament. So I'm looking forward to Robert starting the game and give the young guy a chance to show what he wears.
Well, thanks for joining us in this half of Rugby, Matt. I know you've got to go and warm up your team for the plate final, so all the very best in the plate against the home crowd and the home team.
Oh, great to be here again, Mike, and another fantastic Asian Men's Sevens Series here in the wonderful country that is in Thailand, and some great rugby and a host of teams this year, which is great. Just growing the sport in Asia. Thanks to HSBC Gilbert, AFU, for Cookery for running another great tournament here in Bangkok, and thanks for having me.
Kopkun Krab.
Smarty crab.
So we're off again in the second half of this bowl final. China get possession first up against Chinese Taipei. Team in blue, Chinese Taipei ahead 14 points to 7. And China would love to strike back early in the second half, that's for sure. It's Pei Xin-chen, and here's the fast man, Zhou Shubin. He really does have some toe. The cover defence finally drag him down. It's gone backwards, so China will play on through Chen Ting-chung. Here's Pei Xin-chen, and it's outside to Kui. And there's gaps in midfield here too. Wu Daofeng slips a nice ball to Li and gets the ball back, Wu. And some nice interplay there with the China team under the post, so this should be evening it up. Nice touch off your camera there. One of the Chinese Taipei players marching back 50 metres has just picked up the boot of the Chinese player Chen and flung it back to him, so he didn't have to walk 50 metres back to pick up his boot. So it's all tied up again. This is good work from Wu. You'll see there he slipped the ball to Li, managed to retain his feet and become an option for Li, and is rewarded with a try. Wu Daofeng. Some great games coming up, 4 games after this. Kazakhstan and Malaysia will play off for 7th and 8th. Plate final, Thailand, Philippines. And 3rd and 4th, Sri Lanka and Korea. And the big one, we're all waiting for it, a rematch of the KL final, Japan and Hong Kong. Here's Chuang Po Yao, took the ball into contact. Hasn't committed too many Chinese defenders though. It's going to be tough here for Taipei to get out of the 22. Good wave of defence from PRC. And here's a chance on the outside. It's the bulky figure of Hung Chi Chair though. He's giving it a go around the outside, but George Bin is equal to it. China want to restart quickly. And yeah, it's Pei from Taipei who is penalised. Oh, some good quick action here. Man off the bench is Wong Ting Hua. And showed a clean pair of heels on his way to the try line. So the Chinese Taipei effort is just crumbling a little here. 14-7 up at half time. And now another try into the post to China. And this could be China turning it around to 21-14. Chinese Taipei would love to get back into this game. Of course, if there is extra time, we'll have 5 minutes. We'll have a minute gap and then 5 minutes of extra time. So Chinese Taipei looking to strike back. It's Lo Wuxian, who shows a little bit of pace there but can't get round Zhou Jubin. So Taiwan trying to stretch this China team, but a bit sloppy, but they've got a penalty just 30 metres out